Michael Porter's The Diamond Model was published in 1990 in his book The Competitive Advantage of Nations. It's a model that can help us understand why a nation becomes the home base for successful international competitors in a particular industry and other nations don't. He argues that the old theories made by Adam Smith and Ricardo is not sufficient to explain competitiveness between technology advanced nations of today. In Porter's Diamond Model, there are 4 broad determinants responsible for such diversity. They mark the playing field for the nation's industries. These determinants are factor conditions, demand conditions, related and supporting industries, and firm strategy, structure and rivalry. The model also pointed out that there are 2 additional determinants that influence the 4 main determinants. These are governmental policy and the role of chance of events. Now follows the definition of each determinant. The first is factor conditions. The factors most important to competitive advantage in industries in advanced economies are not inherited, but are created within a nation. To understand the role of factors in competitive advantage, it is necessary to discriminate among types of factors. The first discrimination is between advanced and basic factors. Advanced factors of production are skilled labor, knowledge, capital, and infrastructure. Basic factors such as unskilled labor and raw materials can be obtained by any company and don't generate competitive advantage. The second distinction is between specialized and generalized factors. Specialized factors involve narrowly skilled personnel, infrastructure with specific properties, knowledge base in particular fields, and other factors with relevance to a limited range or even to just a single industry. Examples could be scientific institutes with expertise in optics, a port specialized in handling bulk chemicals, or a pool of venture capital seeking to fund software companies. Germany has possessed competitive advantage in the production of automobiles in many years. Because the nation has advanced factors, which is highly educated personnel such as graduate engineers and computer science, and the industry has specialized factors. They have highly skilled workers trained in specialized apprenticeship programs and graduates from specialized university programs. The second broad determinant of national competitive advantage is demand conditions. The main factor is home demand conditions, which have influence in nearly every industry. The composition of home demand shapes how firms perceive, interpret, and respond to buyer needs. Nations gain competitive advantage in industries where the home demand gives local firms a clearer and earlier picture of buyers' need than foreign rivals can have. It is not merely the size of the market that is important, but it is the intensity and sophistication of the demand that is significant for competitive advantage. If consumers are sophisticated, they will make demands for sophisticated products, and that, in turn, will help the production of sophisticated products. Gradually, the country will achieve competitive advantage in such production. As significant as early home market penetration is early or abrupt saturation. Early saturation forces them to continue innovating and upgrading. and finding international markets for their products. In consumer electronic products, saturation in the Japanese home market is rapid and product life cycles are extremely short. This is because the buyers have homogeneity of taste combined with sophistication and status consciousness. These combinations give them a competitive advantage in comparison with foreign rivals. The third broad determinant is related and supporting industries. The presence of internationally competitive supplier industries in a nation creates advantages in downstream industries. It gives efficient, early, rapid, and sometimes preferential access to the most cost-efficient inputs. The benefit of home-based suppliers is in the process of innovation and upgrading. Firms gain quick access to information, to new ideas and insights, and to supplier innovations. The presence in a nation of competitive industries that are related often leads to new competitive industries. Related industries are those in which firms can coordinate or share activities in the value chain when competing. An example is when pharmaceutical firms use the same university when testing new drugs. The fourth and last broad determinant is firm strategy, structure, and rivalry. Many aspects of a nation, too numerous to generalize, influence the ways in which firms are organized and managed. Some of the most important aspects are attitudes towards authority, norms of interpersonal interaction, attitudes of workers towards management and vice versa, social norms of individualistic or group behavior, and professional standards. These in turn grow out of the educational system, social and religious history, family structures, and many other unique national conditions. Sharp differences exist within and among nations in the goals that the firms seek to achieve, as well as the motivations of their employees and managers. Domestic rivalry creates particular visible pressure on each other to improve. Vigorous local competition not only sharpens advantages at home, but pressures domestic firms to sell abroad in order to grow. This was the four main determinants. Now follows governmental policy. It will influence all the four determinants through various regulatory, deregulatory measures. Policies implemented without consideration of how they influence the entire system of determinants are as likely to undermine national advantage as it harms government effects factor conditions in many ways. Among the most important roles of government is creating and upgrading factors, whether they are skilled human resources, basic scientific knowledge, or infrastructure. Among these factors, there is little doubt that education and training are decisive in national competitive advantage. The fact is that the world standards for workers, technical personnel, and managers are high and rising. No nation will prosper unless its citizens meet them. Now follows the government's effect on demand conditions. Government procurement can be a positive force for upgrading national competitive advantage if they provide early demand for advanced, new, sophisticated products or service from local firms. An example is the Danish government's early decision to pay for hearing aids for those who needed them. This was an important reason for the international success of Danish firms in this industry. Next is the government's effect on related and supporting industries. The government must support these industries in the same way as the industries that have the advantage. Government has an important role in nurturing and reinforcing clusters. The last of the four determinants that government affects is firm strategy, structure and rivalry. Government policy has many influences on the way firms are created, organized, managed, their goals and how they compete. Sustaining and enhancing competitive advantage requires that a nation's firms take a global approach to strategy. Government policy should seek to avoid currency restrictions, restrictions on foreign investment, and restrictions on the inflow and outflow of skilled personnel that impede internationalization. Few rules of government are more important to the upgrading of an economy than ensuring vigorous domestic rivalry. And this requires strong antitrust policy because a dominant domestic competitor rarely results in an international competitive advantage. Now follows the last of determinants that are influencing the four main determinants. This is chance. Chance events are developments outside the control of firms and usually the nation's government, such as pure inventions, breakthrough in basic technologies, wars, external political developments, and major shifts in foreign demand. They create discontinuities that can unfreeze or reshape industry structure and provide opportunity for one nation's firm to supplant another's. Chance have played an important role in shifting competitive advantage in many industries. A shift that changed the competitive advantage was the oil shock in the 70s. The oil shocks ultimately helped upgrading Japanese industry because Japan was especially vulnerable to energy costs and took aggressive steps toward energy conservation. The diamond must be seen as a system. The effect of one determinant often depends on the state of others. An example is the German automobile industry, which have national competitive advantage. The industry have four major players. These are VW, BMW, Mercedes and Opel. They are all placed in the south of Germany. The factor conditions are influenced by the other determinants by different aspects. Home demand influences the particular types of factors that are created in demand conditions. The German automobile buyers have a sophisticated demand. They expect better and better cars. This tends to channel social and private investments into related factor creation. In the south of Germany, they have well-developed specialized educational and scientific institutions geared toward the automobile industry. The pool of factors and rate at which they are created are also shaped by the presence of related and supporting industries. The automobile industry is supported by companies such as Bosch, Siemens and the IT company SAP. These companies belong to industries that possess or stimulate their own mechanism for creating and upgrading specialized factors. Some of the factors are usually transferable, such as ERP system from SAP. A cluster of domestic automobile rivals stimulates factor creation. As the automobile industry is viewed as prestigious in Germany, it stimulates the best job seekers to invest in gaining specialized skills. Now follows how the demand conditions are influenced by the other determinants. The most important effect is probably domestic rivalry. Intense domestic rivalry creates home demand through product and marketing innovation. The presence of successful related and supporting industries can also enhance international demand for German cars. The overall image of German products as high quality is also carried over to the industry of cars. The internationalization of home demand of high-end cars has factor creating mechanisms. The automobile industry will attract foreign students and firms. This will make the training and education in Germany the center for innovation in the industry. Related and supporting industries are also influenced. Factor conditions in automobile industry, especially factor creating mechanisms, have influenced the development of related and supporting industries. Universities in the automobile cluster will educate students to excellency in IT such as CAD/CAM with cases from the industry. Where home demand is significant, more and specialized suppliers emerge to address unmet needs. An example is logistics companies in relation to the automobile industry. They are working more and more efficiently in delivering German cars around the world. The concentration of rivals in the German automobile industry has led to a growth of a teeming and highly specialized group of supplier industries, ranging from light bulbs, tires, brakes, different material compositions, etc. We will now see how the last determinants, firm strategy, structure and rivalry, is influenced by the other three determinants. Demand conditions enhance rivalry in the automobile industry when demanding home buyers all the time expects news from the car world. The rivalry in the German automobile industry is almost personal. They all want to deliver the next wonder car. Related and supporting industries will deliver new ways of doing things to the automobile industry. The factor conditions could nullify or strengthen the international advances of the industry in Germany. Specialized factor creation mechanism could spawn new entrants or usually startups in the industry. One of the universities could be the source of an energy-efficient, carbonite-neutral, high-performance car. This would of course affect the strategy of the firms in the industry. We also have to see how the determinants, government and chance affects the four major determinants and thereby the national competitive advantage. The change from petrol-driven cars to another source of energy will create discontinuities that allow shifts in competitive position. This has the potential to nullify the advantage of the firms in the German automobile industry, and that a new nation's car-making industry can supplant them. The German government can help develop an energy-efficient, carbonite-neutral, high-performance car by supporting research in that field. Now follows some criticism of the model. Porter feels that a sizable domestic demand must be present for attaining competitive advantage. But there are industries that have flourished only because of demand from foreign consumers. An example is Nestle. A lion's share of the earning comes from foreign sales. If the domestic suppliers of input are not available, the backward linkage will be meaningless. Determinant, related and supporting industries does not exist in the nation. Availability of natural resources, according to Porter, is not the only condition for attaining competitive advantage. There must be other factors in his world. But studies show that some Canadian industries emerge on the global map only on the basis of natural resources. Nevertheless, these limitations do not undermine the significance of Porter's national competitive advantage theory, especially in advanced industries placed in advanced countries.